What is good, everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name is Paul. I make videos about Japanese society, life, and culture from the viewpoint of a long-term foreign resident. I've been in Japan for 20 years now, and today I'm going to be talking about solutions. The over-tourism problem has been in the media a lot. It's been covered a lot by different YouTubers. I'm not going to go over that exhausting, kind of depressing information about tourists behaving badly and crowding locals out of their buses and all these kinds of different issues that have come with the rise of tourism in Japan. Today I want to talk about some possible ways we can address the problem. So let's get into solutions. But first, I just want to quickly mention that I have dropped a video over on my Patreon, which is my Japanese language journey, how I've gone about learning and continue to learn Japanese. I decided to put that over on Patreon first, by way of a thank you to my patrons over there, and I will eventually release that onto YouTube, maybe a month or two from now. But if you want to see my Japanese language journey, go over to Patreon, join, and you can watch it then. Also, if you find value in this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, share it with someone that you think would get, something of value out of it as well, and those are the best ways to support the channel in the end. All right, let's get into tourist solutions. Now, first of all, we do have to get out of the way that Japan's tourist issue is not too many tourists per se. It's the fact that all of the tourists go to the same places. So when we're talking about Asakusa, Sensoji, and Tokyo, or Shibuya Scramble, Harajuku, the certain temples that everyone goes to when they visit Kyoto, etc. Like, the issue is not too many tourists overall. It's just that they're all concentrated in the same places. So my solutions, of which I have 3, plus one big kind of meta idea at the end that I'm going to talk about. My solutions all pretty much have to do with how we can spread out the tourists, because I don't think the solution should be less tourists. It's just how they act or where they go once they're here. And so the first thing I want to bring up is that I feel the government needs to change its idea and its campaigns regarding tourism, because for the longest time they have had, in their press releases and how they talk about it, these goals for how many tourists they want to have come. Like, they want the steadily increasing tourism. But that's all they talk about, the increasing of numbers. Like, we want this many tourists by 2025, and then we want this many more tourists by 2030, etc. That is not really a plan. Just more people isn't a plan, and we're already seeing the issues that come with this, that more people are coming, yes, but that just means more people in those same places. So when I was thinking about this video, my mind went back to a campaign that was done by Tokyo Metro, maybe, I want to say 6, 7, 8 years ago. It's definitely before the pandemic. And that campaign was Find My Tokyo. And basically in those campaign advertisements, the actress was going around and like, here's this amazing little cafe that I found, and then I took the metro to this nearby art museum, and then after the art museum I traveled to this really beautiful little park, and it was all about like using the metro to explore Tokyo and find the spots that are meaningful and special to you. And I thought, well, shouldn't we just do that, but for tourists, not just Japanese locals? So the idea of Find My Tokyo, the government in collaboration with, the metro system, the train system, local businesses, museums, etc., could launch these things that are encouraging tourists to explore and try to seek out these more unique and personal experiences when they travel through Japan. So Find My Tokyo or Find My Kyoto would be great campaigns to run in my mind, and they should be thinking about how they're pushing the increasing tourists to these unique, special, spread out experiences rather than just, we need more people showing up. Honestly, this is what I do whenever I go to Kyoto. When I go to Kyoto, I'm finding my Kyoto, meaning I'm visiting a certain few places that I love and always go back to, And then I spend the rest of my time exploring, trying to find new things I've never seen before. I think that, obviously we're never going to stop the tourists from going to the super famous places. Like, they're always going to want to see Shibuya Scramble, and they're always going to want to see like Fushimi Inari in Kyoto, but like the timing and the amount that they spread out is going to benefit everyone, even if people still want to hit those spots as part of their Kyoto or Tokyo experience. So yeah, running that kind of campaign would be really beneficial in my mind. That ties into the second point I'm going to make. By the way, Mount Fuji in the background. I'm filming from Kawaguchiko City today, or Kawaguchiko Town rather, it's not really a city. But the second thing ties into the first in that in order to make these campaigns work and actually get out to people who might be interested, we need to harness the power of social media. The problem I see is that when you think of Japanese politicians, the ones who have power, decision-making ability, the bureaucrats who make everything run on the ground level, so to speak, they're not really the social media generation. Most of the people with decision-making power and policy power are quite elderly. They're not on TikTok, they're not on Instagram, etc. So one thing that probably needs to happen, no, not probably, definitely needs to happen, is a harnessing of some youth, like hiring people, getting PR departments more savvy with harnessing the power of social media. And I mean, like, instead of just having a Tokyo government official Instagram account, have something like Real Tokyo Guide, which, sorry if that actually is an account that exists, I just made that up, but like Real Tokyo Guide that's officially connected to the Tokyo government, but it doesn't sound, stiff like Tokyo government official. So have these accounts, have younger people running them, and have them promote these sorts of campaigns of Find My Tokyo and, posting inspiring spots, views, activities, cafes, whatever it might be, and try to get people to, basically trying to reach people through social media in a way that Japanese authorities aren't at this time. Like, most of the best Instagram or TikTok accounts out there by Japanese are definitely private citizens, somewhat professional photographers, that kind of thing. Get a little bit more view of Fuji there, sandwiched between the buildings. I'm actually not far away from one of the famous over-tourism spots, which is the Fuji Lawson's, the convenience store Lawson's. I could actually walk up that way, and it's about maybe a 5-minute walk in that direction. I'm not going to, but that spot became viral because of social media. Everyone saw that photo, thought it was awesome, and decided that they wanted to get the same photo for themselves. And that's what we need to encourage, which leads to, one more point about harnessing social media is one of the campaigns that could possibly be done is something like, I've pitched actually to local officials, not in this city, but the next town over, Fuji-Yoshida. I've talked to a couple people about doing something like an Instagram photo competition where you can enter your photos of Mount Fuji from the Fuji-Yoshida area, and the only rule of the competition is that it can't be from an already viral location. So it's like kind of a Find Your Fuji competition to go out and take photos of Mount Fuji that could become, your photo could become the next viral Fuji shot, and you might win this competition at the same time. So spreading out the tourists, making, the scavenger hunts, the competitions, the campaigns for discounts, and certain events that can be held in addition to the normal events to try to encourage people to explore new areas. There's so many things that could be done. The key point, though, is to get them out on social media, and that leads me to my third point. To really get the ball rolling, we have to, I say we, officials and local areas should actually start spending the cash to pay real influencers to go to places and promote them. Now, I'm not talking someone like me. I'm entirely too small for that. And I'm not even talking about in Japan sphere influencers like Chris Broad, probably the biggest Japan-based YouTuber. He's already kind of doing this, but he's going to capture the audience of people who are already like genuinely interested in Japan and are kind of into Japan content to some extent. When I say influencers, I mean more like world sphere influencers, world sphere famous levels, not Japan sphere famous. So I'm talking like, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, LeBron James, Taylor Swift. I mean, maybe I'm aiming a little too high with my examples, but you get the idea. Like, people who are just famous, period, could be paid to go to certain areas that are not on the beaten tracks now. And it's not so much that people are going to say, oh, look, The Rock went here, so now I want to go there. It's more like people will see it because so many people follow The Rock or Oprah Winfrey or Taylor Swift or whoever it might be. If they have a ton of followers that are just general people, then a lot of people are going to see it. And people are not going to go there because The Rock went there. They're going to go there because, wow, that looked really amazing. I'd like to see that for myself. That's how those places go viral to begin with, many of them. So, yeah, basically, it could be really helpful to shell out some money to influencers to harness that social media power to get more, screen time? Nah, that's not the right term. To get more, I'm losing my English. To get more exposure. Get more exposure to certain things that wouldn't otherwise cross people's notice. Okay, before I get into the last sort of meta analysis thing that I want to talk about, I want to invite you to comment below, because I know I have a lot of really smart viewers of this channel, people who have lived in Japan as long or longer than I have. I would like to know what your ideas are, also what you might have to think about the ideas that I put forth today. Of course, if you don't live in Japan, you can definitely express your opinion on these ideas as well, from your experience or your own thoughts about how Japan could mitigate the over-tourism, or rather the over-concentration of tourism. So please comment, that would be really great. But speaking of mitigating the over-concentration of tourism, that leads to my meta comment, which is Japan is a country of over-concentration. Overconcentration is just a thing in terms of overpopulation of the major metropolitan areas. I mean, if there were no foreign tourists in Shibuya, it's still going to be really crowded. Harajuku on a Saturday and Sunday are always going to be crowded, even if there were no foreign tourists, making it more so. So if Japan enacted policies and put forth measures to decrease the over-centralization in places like Tokyo, that would go a long way to solve issues of overcrowding, even in the tourist spots, because let's just be honest, there's just too many people, not just too many foreign tourists. So I don't know, I mean, there might be some disagreement about that, but I genuinely feel that the overpopulation, overconcentration in the major metropolitan areas, especially Tokyo, is an issue that's affecting a lot of social problems in Japan, like the falling birth rate, the dying countryside, the economy stagnating, if we're being perfectly honest. Because everyone feels they need to move to Tokyo, live in a rabbit hutch, have 1.2 children, and favor convenience over genuine growth and resuscitation of Japan as a full country, not just a country that consists of Tokyo, Osaka, and a couple other places. So anyway, that's a tangent. It's a pet project of mine. I did a whole video where I just go into a deep dive about this issue. I will link that below if you want to watch. But I wanted to bring it up here because I do feel it's pertinent. It's tied in, at least tangentially, to having too many tourists. It's just the fact that there's just too much population density in general. So if you're complaining about having too many people in Tokyo, I don't think it's entirely fair to just blame foreign tourists for that. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I'm so grateful that you've made it to this part of the video, and if you have not subscribed yet, but you got this far, what are you doing? Please subscribe, and I hope to see you on next week's video as well. But thanks for watching this one, and yeah, catch you next time. Peace.